ex-boyfriend used to satisfy her so much for what, and he likes it bushy. Okay, and her husband does not even want to see it, but now she has become so accustomed to having it bushy that when she is all cleaned up down there, no matter how much the husband tries, she cannot get to that peak. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Victoria Ayodele Fash. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. If you're a returning subscriber, you know I love you, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for always coming back. Okay, so today's video is, I don't even know, this is like the 15th intro I have done for this video. I don't know why it's been so difficult for me. This is not the first time I've attempted to shoot this video. I think this is my third attempt. It's the last time I tried to shoot it, I ended up shooting something else, and I don't know why. And this is a video that has been in my heart. It has been placed in my heart for a very long time, and I've just been like posted it, and I just feel like the prompting, like, I don't know, maybe this is meant for someone. I don't even know, honestly. But yeah, my husband has come out like, what is wrong with you? You've done intro, like, what's happening? And I told him I don't even understand. You understand? And this is like late in the night. But I just feel like, okay, this burden is so heavy on me and I need to share this. I don't know who this is meant for. I don't know who this is supposed to encourage, right? Yeah, so let us do this. Okay, so today I'll be talking about a very controversial subject. Okay, it's I don't know, I think it has become, and this is very weird to me because this used to be a topic that, we shouldn't be afraid to talk. You understand? It used to be the topic that everyone should be talking about, everyone is preaching. But I think we've just gotten to a time in our world where, I said this in my last video, my husband, that we have just gotten to a time in our world where it's like the opposite of what it used to be, right? The things we used to celebrate has not become the things that you cannot say proudly, and the things that we used to like condemn, not necessarily condemn, but chastise people for, are the things we now celebrate. Okay, so yes, I'm talking about waiting till marriage. Okay, yes. And I don't know, I'm being honest with you, I have never ever in my life struggled to shoot a video. Most times my intro once, at most twice, like I have never started to shoot a video and stop. So this made me to realize that, okay, there has to be something or someone who needs to hear this. Okay, yeah, so because I don't know. Anyway, so yes, let us get right into it. And if this video is helpful to you, please remember to subscribe, to leave a comment, and let me know what you think about this video. Okay, all right, so yes, we are talking about waiting until marriage. There's a lot of content around sex and sexual intimacy and doing the do. If you guys know me, you know that even I create content about doing the do. You understand? Because I feel like there is a lot of misconception about what this act actually is. I was actually talking to a friend yesterday. I was just making fun. She's married, and we're talking about the act, not talking about it in details, but she mentioned something like, oh, yeah, something, Sha. I can't really say it here, and it was so interesting. And I was telling her that nobody actually told me that doing the do is this, it takes so much toll on you. You understand? Because all the things, or most of the mindsets that we grew up with about intimacy in marriage or in a relationship, is that, oh, it is this heavenly, sweet, whatever thing. And it is sweet, yes, it can be heavenly. It is usually mostly heavenly when you're not tired and not in the mood. You understand? It's mostly like that. It's a beautiful experience. Okay, but I mentioned that when me and my husband, when we finally married and did the whole thing, and he was asking me, I think on our wedding night, definitely not our wedding night, during our honeymoon, and he was asking me that, do I regret waiting, or do I wish I had done the do earlier? And I was telling him that I don't. Do you understand? So I was wondering, like, in how, because usually when people talk about waiting till marriage, and we always speak from the religious point of view, or from our Christianity, faith point of view, which for me, waiting to marriage was a personal decision I decided to make, right? Or yeah, I decided to make when I was a teenager, that I wanted to wait to for the right person. And when I ask myself why did I want to wait, to be honest, I can't really say that it was because I the only reason I can think of, or that I can give myself, is it was just a decision for me. I've always grown up to know that, doing the do before marriage is a sin. I always knew it as a sin, and I made a vow to myself and to God helping me, that I was going to wait till I met the right person, okay, till I got married. And so that was my own decision. The reason I made that decision is because I wanted to keep myself pure. I wanted to give myself to the person that deserves me, right? I was not interested in trying things out or trying people out, because I think what you guys already know, that I've talked about this for a long time. When I was younger, I used to read a lot of relationship books. I watch a lot of relationships messages. So and from the Christian perspective, okay. So I guess that all those things that I've read has made me to realize, and from my auntie's friends that used to be around me when I was growing up, I realized that, okay, so this thing does not actually keep a man, okay. So I got a lot of education about what this act actually is, and Jesus Christ, help me God. And I don't want to go beyond myself, okay, because I want to try to take it step by step. And I got to understand that, okay, sex is not going to keep a man. It's not going to make a man to stay with you, okay. And then I asked myself, do I want to, when I'm married or when I'm old, do I want to have body counts? Then, of course, I didn't know it was body counts, but more or less, like, do I want to be trying or allowing people to try me here and there and be going in and out of me? You understand? I knew that wasn't what I wanted. I also believed right from childhood that my body is the temple of God, right? So I am very careful of the things that I've always been since. Okay, so I grew up in a Christian family. My parents are Christians. I was raised a believer, but it was when I was a teenager that I had encounter with God by myself, and I decided by myself that, okay, I'm going to keep my body holy for the person who deserves it. Now, does it mean that I was holy, nobody touched me, I didn't do? That's of course not true. Okay, when I was a teenager, I had my own times of rebellious times, okay. Of course, I had boyfriends here and there, we kissed, some of them even saw me without clothes. And I'm not going to lie, because I want to be real with you guys. So I'm not going to call me and feel like, oh, I'm one innocent person that never had any sexual experience before I got married. That is not true, okay. I did not have intercourse because, to me, and based on my beliefs, I know that this particular act is important to God. But then again, I knew then also that it's not just until the thing entered the thing that thing has happened. If you have not watched my wedding night videos, probably some of these terms might be strange to you, but I'm sure you understand, right? I knew that, okay, every other act also counts as sexual acts, right? Although it is not sex in itself, okay? But yes, I had my own times, but it got to a point where I told you guys for a long time when I was throughout my university days. Okay, there's one story I want to tell you guys about when, anyways, just look out for a story time from me this year. I think I have postponed this story for a long time. I'm going to talk about it. But anyways, I didn't have any boyfriend. I was not interested in any kind of romantic relationship, okay? And I knew, and that was when I went to school, I met some amazing friends, I got personal with the Holy Spirit, and I decided that, okay, it's not just about the intercourse in itself, I need connection with God, you understand? So I had my own struggles in school too, but I'm grateful to God that I didn't even have a boyfriend because I did not even want to, entertain it. You get. So yes, that was my story until, I met my husband and all. So, like I was saying, when my husband asked me the other day, I was like, I don't have any regrets that I waited, because the guilt and the shame and, that comes with doing it when you know that this person is not the right person, like when you're not married, outside of marriage and all of that. I don't want to face that, okay? So I enjoy being able to do it with my husband and not feel guilty. I feel happy, and we talk about it. We even pray during the act. We do stuff, you understand? And I don't have any guilt in my heart. I don't have any shame in my heart and the rest of it. So I told him then that this is my conviction. I don't even, I enjoy it now so much, yes, and I'm not going to lie. But I don't enjoy it. The enjoyment is not so much that I wish that I've been enjoying it since. No. Anyway, so yes, I was thinking about, how do I structure this? Because I know there's a lot of content around this, right? I just want to add my voice to it. Okay, so most of the things you might be hearing from me might not be the first time you're hearing it. But Yeah, so I wanted to start, or I want to approach this topic from why you should have sex, or why the world says you should have sex, or do they do before marriage. Okay, so that is what I want to approach it. And then, so I have this site here that talks about why it is okay, or why people do have it before marriage, and then I will give my own perspective based on their points. Okay, I hope you understand. All right, so the first reason I have here, moreover, this is from marriage.com. It's a website. It says, oh God, please help me. I hope I don't step on people's toes in this in this video. So the first reason they gave here about, you know, why you should do, or why people do before getting married. The first reason here is establishing your sexual identity. So basically they're talking about you exploring your sexual side so that you'll get to know what so we cannot grow naturally and develop into he said, if we do not explore our sexual side, we cannot grow naturally and develop into it. That means that we cannot truly understand where our sexual identity lies. Many people do not discover their sexual orientation until they have sex and realize that they are perhaps not naturally attracted to the opposite sex, blah 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 blah. Okay, so the first reason that they give here is knowing your sexual identity. Okay, knowing your sexual identity, like for instance, you know, if you are attracted to guys, or if you're attracted to girls, okay, that it is when you do it that you realize that, okay, I'm not really that attracted to men, I am attracted to girls. The only problem that I have with this is, how many guys are you going to explore with before you find out? Because you had a bad intimacy with one guy does not mean that you are not attracted to guys. And the truth is, you know when you're attracted to a person without even having sex with the person. Attraction or lust, or attraction does not have you don't need to have a sexual intimacy with the person to know that you're attracted to this person. Okay, and for me, speaking from my point of views, I know my sexual identity in Christ. Okay, I know that. Okay, yeah, God made me for a man. Okay, and I've always known that. I've never been sexually attracted to a woman. Anyway, so I already know that, okay, he's a man. Okay, and the truth is, you don't, like I said, you don't need to be sexually involved to know that you're attracted to a woman or you're attracted to a man. Okay, and because I was saying that because you had one bad experience with one man does not mean that you're automatically attracted to a woman. So how many men, and because you had bad experience with 5 men does not mean you're attracted to a woman. Okay, so how many men are you going to try out before you decide which gender you are actually attracted to? So how do you know that it's not just the men that you have been around that, you know, they are not the one that have the problem, right? And you understand. So yeah, and if this argument is, then you'll be sleeping with both genders to be able to know, okay, let me balance it to know where I belong. So this is actually encouraging a lot of sin. Okay, yeah. So I don't even think this is a valid argument. Knowing your sexual identity, I don't think that you need to have it to know it. You know when you're attracted to a man, and if it's the other way around. And I've said this before, and I don't mean to be offensive to anybody, but most of the people that grow up, you know, hating men or not wanting to have anything to do with men because they have been hurt by men growing up. I had my own experience when I was growing up. Okay, but thankfully, I don't know, for a long time I was able to block that memory. I didn't even remember it until I remember we're in school and my friends were telling me, and then I started remembering things, and I'm like, oh my God. But anyways, yes, but thankfully it didn't affect me in that area. Okay, if you don't deal with it, right, then there will be effects. Like I had some experiences as a teenager, like, yeah, I don't want to share those yet. But yes, what I'm trying to say is that some people, it's just because if you naturally hate men, you don't want to be with men as a woman. Okay, there might be something behind it. There might be something behind it. You might want to check it. From the stories I've read, most of them have been abused by men, and that's why they are repulsed by the idea of being with a man. Okay, so yes, I don't even think this point is valid, because you don't need to do it to know if you're attracted to the person. Okay, now the second reason they gave here is developing sexual experience. So he said that you're considering marriage and settling down. You wouldn't marry anybody who is too childlike or naive at life. Yeah, that is the thing. But you don't need to do to know that this person is naive or this person behaves childish. Okay, it makes sense to explore ourselves sexually so that by the time things start to get real, you'll be confident enough in yourself and in your understanding of your sexual side without having to go through the pain of practicing all of this on the person you are you consider to be the real deal. All right, so basically they're saying that you have more sexual experience, so that when you finally meet the right person, you are not just learning, okay, you're able to express yourself, you're able to, enjoy it and do things and stuff. Okay, now that argument also has some loopholes, because the first thing they even said here is that you wouldn't marry someone who's childlike. Like, you don't need to be sexually involved with the person to know that this person is childlike or this person behaves childish. You can tell from the way they talk, the way they interact, the way you understand. So yeah, I don't understand the mindset behind that argument. And then the other part about having more experience, exploring your exploring your sexual side, to be able to know, to be able to have experience. Okay, this is what marriage is for. Okay, oh my God, because the loophole in this is that, then what are you doing in marriage? You understand? What are you doing in marriage? Because the essence of getting married is that you get to grow together, you get to experience things together. That's where the fun is. Okay, when I just got married to my husband, like, it was really nice for him teaching, like, to hear him teaching me things, telling me what to do, me telling him, okay, I don't like that, do this, you understand? So yeah, I don't understand the mindsets behind getting experience. And one other thing I've always said in my channel is that the experience with each partner is different. Because you were a master with this partner does not mean that you'll be a master with this person, because people are different. People's orientation is different. So because you have had like 20 years of sexual experience does not mean once you get with a new person, right, it is new again. Like, you guys are learning each other, how to please each other. Because you know how to please this person does not mean that when you get married, your wife, you'll be able to please your wife in the same way. Your wife might not tick that way. Okay, and because you're able to please that man or that guy in that way does not mean your husband likes it that way. Okay, we've had instances where, and this is why we have so many issues. There was one I was reading on Instagram a while ago, and they were talking, and the woman was complaining that her ex-boyfriend used to satisfy her so much for what, and he likes it bushy. Okay, and her husband does not even want to see it, but now she has become so accustomed to having it bushy that when she is all cleaned up down there, no matter how much the husband tries, she cannot get to that peak. You understand? And one thing you need to know about, doing the do is also that your body is learning. Okay, you are teaching, and that's why I always talk about masturbation and all of those things, that you are killing yourself, you're killing your sexual side, because you are teaching your body that until I am touched in this way, you cannot come. Because again, doing the do is an experience your body is experiencing. Okay, your body is learning, your brain is learning. So your brain is learning that, okay, when you do this, you can get there. When you don't do this, you cannot get there. So until you do that, and when your body gets accustomed to one thing, it takes a long time for you to now unlearn it, and your body starts to learn. You understand? For instance, when me and my husband, started the act, it was very strange for me. I did for months. Jesus Christ, when it's time, I used to hide. Because I'm like, I beg, what's the fun in this? You understand? That was because my body was not used to it. My body is not used to the intrusion. My body is not used to, the act. Okay, so it was still a strange thing. But trust me, the moment my body got a hang of it, the moment my body started to, say that, okay, so now I understand. Now if you do this, now if you get here, you understand. Baby gay, it was, you understand? So let's move on. So yes, sexual experience with a person does not mean that it's going to be the same way with another person. Okay, the things that makes you attracted to this person, and you need to also know that our body also responds to whatever attracts us to a person. So because I'm attracted to your smile or your smell or whatever, and when I get that, my body shifts. The other person might not have that same sense. Okay, so why do I want to be going through all of this and confusing my body? And then when I finally meet this person, because my body has seen so many things, it does not even know what is happening anymore. You understand? So yeah, to me it doesn't make sense. Sexual experience, the reason for marriage, and I think it's so beautiful when both of you are learning together, because it makes it fun. It brings the excitement in it, that oh, what do you know, let me teach you this, let us teach ourselves this, we're exploring. You understand? It's not like now that I've learned everything, so So what? So every time I would do it, there's no joy, there's no fun, there's no newness, there's no experiencing each other, there's no surprises, because you have done it all. You understand? And that's what marriage is for. And that's when it becomes stale, because you have overdone it. So what is the new thing? And then you now start to compare. My ex-best friend used to do it this way. My husband doesn't do it. Because of that, I won't, I don't get aroused, because it doesn't do it the way my ex-boyfriend used to do it. You see a lot of these stories online. A lot of them. People asking for advice and the rest of it, okay? So yes, I don't think sexual experience is going to help you in the long run. I think you can have when you marry, you have your whole life to do these things. So you will have the whole experience you need to have, but you have it with the right person, okay? Yeah, so yes, anyways, that is my own argument on that, okay? Let's move on. God, I feel like 24 minutes, I've spoken too much. Assessing sexual compatibility. So it says, let's face it, while marriage requires more than physical intimacy alone, physical intimacy is an essential component of marriage that requires effort and attention. Yes, I agree. Avoiding physical intimacy in marriage because of an issue with lack of sexual attraction will potentially create a distance between your marriage that can be difficult for you to come back from in some situations. Discovering your sexual compatibility beforehand can help you avoid such problem. So now we're talking about sexual compatibility. Again, for me, yes, it's true what they said or how they began. It's like, marriage requires more than physical intimacy, but physical intimacy is a huge part of marriage, okay? Doing the do, like I said, and I think that, anyways, maybe I'll talk about this when I talk about the spiritual angle. I don't want to get too much into that now. So yes, it requires more, but sexual intimacy is a very important part of your marriage, because it brings the two of you back. Two of you connect. There's not, you don't become more vulnerable than in that moment when you're with your partner. You understand he's in the mood, you're in the mode, you're into it, you ask him for his account number, he gives you. We hear all of these things, okay? It doesn't work for every man. It cannot work for my husband. Maybe. But yes, when, it helps you guys to connect at a deeper level, okay? There's a reason for that. But I'll talk about when I'm talking about the spiritual angle of it, okay? There's a reason for that. There's a reason why sex makes you to connect, okay? So it is very essential in marriage. When you're talking about sexual compatibility, who are you comparing it with? That is my question, okay? Who are you comparing it with? Okay? The problem with sexual compatibility starts when you start to move from one person to another, when you start to do it before you're ready, okay? Then you're saying that, oh, am I... God help me. I've never had a more difficult topic to talk about. Yeah, but when you're talking about sexual compatibility, right? When you have a lot of people, then that's when you have to start comparing. Am I compatible with this? Am I not compatible with that? If not, when you are with your man and for some reason it is not working, when you know that this is my husband, you start to find ways to make it work. You don't leave him and say that we are not sexually compatible, then let me go and find somebody else. No, and that is not what intimacy is supposed to be, okay? Again, we'll talk about that in the spiritual angle. But when we're talking about compatibility, why do you want to know? As long as the man has his instrument working and your own instrument is working, compatibility, as long as the two of you are in marriage, you're married, like you're together, you will get there. When you start to do it, you might see, I told you guys when we just started, I was not enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying it now, okay? So if I said that then, because I'm not feeling it, because my body is not responding, I should go and jump to another person, I'm going to start learning again with that person until we get there. So the response to we are not compatible sexually should not be, I'm going to check somebody else, let me go and try other people. No, what you ought to do is to learn, how do we spice things up? Where do we need to work on? What angle do we need to work on? Do we change positions? Do I need to dress more sexy? Do we need to do this? Do we need to read books? Do we need to do this? That is part of the experience. That's part of learning. That's part of exploring. You start to discover your body, to discover what ticks or what not ticks. But when you are saying that, I want to discover sexual compatibility, so you do this one, you're not compatible. Move to this one, you're not compatible. How will you allow yourself to be? And the one that you are compatible with, okay, the one that you finally, okay, gets you to Jerusalem. What if tomorrow is not because you realize that this thing, you keep developing, you keep learning, you keep improving. Okay, so what is compatibility to you today? What is psyching you? My husband is laughing at me. Get out. What is psyching you? Leave me alone, Joe. What is psyching you and what is exciting you today might not excite you tomorrow. Okay, it is true, because again, it gets bored. You get bored. So the person you think is exciting you will get bored with him. You understand? And then you start to go and look for compatibility somewhere else again. You see that it doesn't make sense. So, but when you know this is your husband and it's not working, we are not getting the how do you make me tick? We start to learn, we start to explore things, we start to, learn how to please each other, how to explore each other. So there's nothing like God. The Bible says that He made them male and female. You are from heaven. You are compatible. Okay, so compatibility is not something you should worry about. It is not something you should worry. Sexual compatibility is not something you should worry about. As long as the two of you are open and we have talked about. Maybe I'll do a video about intimacy questions you should ask yourself, because you need to also know, because you don't need to know if you're you don't need to do to know that you're sexually compatible. I knew I was sexually compatible to my husband before we started to do you understand, because we asked ourselves questions. We talked about we talk about general topics, we bring instances, we talk about scenarios. What do you like? Have you had experience before? What do you think? What is your sexual fantasy? What is this? What is that? We discussed everything, okay? You understand? So through his response, I knew that okay. It doesn't mean that when we got into marriage, we still have our whole life to do this thing, okay? So we are taking it one step at a time. You understand? So that's what I'm saying, that you don't need to try people to know you're compatible. Compatibility doesn't just happen. What makes you think you are sexually compatible today might not take you tomorrow. So what happens? You gotta look for somebody else? No. So you learn, you grow, you improve, you read books, you look for ways to excite each other. So don't worry about sexual compatibility, okay? Worry about every other thing, okay? And discourse, okay? Yeah. Anyways, so that is my own argument on that. I'm actually liking this approach. Holy Spirit, thank you. So the next thing is identifying sexual problems. It says that there is a myriad of sexual problems that can occur. Some might be fleeting and others might require time and effort to resolve, while others might be permanent. It would make sense to see how you work through such problems before marriage, so that you don't spend your marriage life dealing with issues instead of enjoying beautiful relationship. Okay. I think for this, okay, my argument, and trust me guys, I've not read this before, okay? Everything I'm saying, I've not read this before. I just a few minutes before I started this video, I saw this channel. I said, okay, this might be a good way. Let me just, flow, okay? So that's why I'm thinking on my feet, okay? So I think my own response to this identifying sexual problem is, so what happens? Okay, so now that I know that, okay, maybe you have, I don't even know what is, is it erectile dysfunction and stuff like that. You don't need to see, sister, you don't need to do it to know if a person has erectile dysfunction, okay? You understand? That's what I'm saying. You will know, okay? We cannot be dating for the last 4 years and seeing me has not moved you. You will know. There are a lot of couples that had the do, and these are stories that I read. I follow a lot of advice platform on Instagram. Someone asked me why I always get stories from Instagram. I'm always on Instagram. There are couples that they did everything compatible before marriage, okay? And they realize years later that their husband is gay or their wife is a lesbian. So doing this does not guarantee that you would know if the person has sexual problems or not. People can pretend, okay? If, it's in the case of maybe they are attracted to same sex and the rest of it. But when it comes to other sexual problems, again, that is what marriage is for, okay? She was talking about enjoying blissful, instead of facing challenges and problems in marriage. Problems are going to come in marriage. There's this story that someone actually sent to me. I'm thinking of having a collaboration with that lady, but I've not actually reached out to her. It just came to my head now. I think I will. She was talking about when she was a virgin when she got married, and how it was so difficult. She went to the hospital to try to open her up, and it was just a very terrible, terrible time. And then she said that later they got comfortable with themselves. They started to enjoy themselves, and things happened naturally on its own, but it took them months to finally do it after they have been married. But would they take that month back? She said, and I love what she said at the end, that they got so close in that period. You realize that there's a lot of intimacy you can have without doing the do. There's a lot of intimacy you can have with your husband without that action happening. Okay, so when going back to this argument about sexual problems can happen after marriage. Okay, so if the guy can be the best, doing the do you have ever done, okay, and then after marriage, if there is problem, too much sugar causes his thing not to stay long, or for him not to last long, or whatever, so will you leave him and start looking for somebody else? Are you going to leave her if after she got married or after she gave birth she has PTSD, right, or what they call this thing, right, postpartum depression, right, and she doesn't find you attractive, she doesn't want to have sex, she doesn't want to, will you leave and go and be finding somebody else? So when you're talking about you want to enjoy this beautiful, issues will come in marriage. There are times that even it's financial issues that will not make you attracted to each other. You understand? So do you go and start finding other people? No, you face it. You look for ways to deal with issues. That is what marriage is for. Okay, so I'm not saying that you open your eyes and go and marry someone that has sexual problem. If the person opens up to you and see, again, when I'm sharing that story time, I'll tell you, see, we underestimate the power of prayer. Hey, oh my God. Anyways, let's move on. I don't want to get into the spiritual angle because I'll talk about that in another video, because obviously, or maybe I'll talk about that last. Maybe this video will be 2 parts. I don't know. But yes, sexual killership. What was it saying? Problems. Issues might arise in your sexual life as you move on in your marriage. So what happens then? Do you now leave the person? So if you're trying to identify problems, what if everything is good and 2 months into marriage or a year into marriage, something happens, he has an infection, she has an infection, you understand, and the two of you can't do it? So, do you understand? So I don't even think that is reason enough for you to go and let's talk about sexual problems. You know the problems that come, you doing it before marriage, STDs, pregnancy, single mother, single father, death through abortion, or removing your womb through abortion. The problems that come through the risk you are exposing yourself to is way more than the sexual problem you are thinking of, okay, that might occur. There is no sexual problem, that does not have solution, okay, unless maybe it is a permanent problem. I don't understand, because if you have a permanent problem, you should let your partner know. And if it's something you discover later, I don't know, you guys will figure it out. You'll figure it out. It's the truth. Okay, you figure something out. Okay, so if you go and have sex all around, and again, who says that the person that you are doing it with, after he does it with you, is going to marry you? Okay, so now you've dated this person for I dated my husband for 4 years. So you date for 4 years, you have knocked yourself. After 4 years, they said it's going for somebody else. So what has all the experience you have done, you have gotten? What is the use? What is the gain? Okay, what's the gain of all the experience you have gotten? Because you go to another person, date another 3 years, do it. If he says he's not doing. Okay, so what is the gain? You understand? So yeah, sexual problems, to me, it's not a reason, because problems can arise at any time in marriage, and there are a lot of factors that can affect your sexual life in your marriage that does not even have to do with maybe erectile dysfunction or anything. It can be you are in a bad place mentally. If you're in a bad place mentally, your sexual need is the last thing in your mind. You understand? So a lot of things can affect that area. A lot of things, okay, can affect that area. You can have UTI or something that will not allow you to do it in a while. So you understand, but problems will come. Sexual problems will come, okay? So that is not the reason for you to be sleeping around, because even after you marry, you might still have those problems. So what happens? You leave him and go and look for somebody else. No sense in that, okay?